Okay, sorry folks, I'm just making sure that everyone can come to the class just fine. Um, okay, so I'm streaming this from Zoom. I decided not to, broadcast directly from Zoom. So for now, I'm just going to stream from Zoom from now on. I feel like this is more secure than just, streaming directly from Zoom. And this is too loud. Okay, I just turned off the replay. And this is my first time doing this, so bear with me as I try to, make sure that everything's working properly. I have streamed on YouTube before, and I have used Zoom before, obviously, but I haven't actually done both at the same time. So again, bear with me. And I know that, there's a 20-second delay or so when I'm streaming, so just keep that in mind. Okay. Just making sure, everyone can, see the thing. Okay, so I have exercises set up, so don't worry, everyone. I have plenty of exercises set up, like 5, I believe. I would have had more, but a lot of the quizzes here kind of just suck. They just suck. They're not very good. Oh my God. Let me see if I can find a few more while I'm waiting for everyone to show up. Just close out of that. Okay. Okay. So far. Okay. I'll just wait I'll just give people 2 more minutes to show up, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Because don't worry, guys, I have a great lesson for you all today. I'm glad that I could still use Zoom because I didn't want it to go to waste because it's such an awesome platform, and I don't want it to go to waste. Let's see if I can find more grammar exercises because I tried doing that earlier, but I couldn't find any more. I might just have to rely on just because they keep giving me ones for Spanish. I'm like, no, I don't want Spanish quizzes. I want English quizzes. And that's Brain Pop, but well, actually, no, we could use Brain Pop. Let me see if we can use that. Let me go back. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let me just go ahead and it was right here. Oh, okay. Actually, I'll check it out now. Let's not do that. Okay. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. So it seems that there are plenty of people here. Can you all hear me just fine? I hope you all can hear me because I tested the audio before doing this. Okay, let's just go ahead and get started. So let me go ahead and share my screen with the whiteboard. And okay, let me pause to share for a moment. Okay, let's see. Hopefully everyone can see me. I mean, not see me, but see what I'm doing. And where's my cell phone? I just had my cell phone. Oh my God, I just had my, oh, there it is. Okay, just making sure you all can see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and get started. Just go ahead and this here and unpause that. Okay, let me go ahead and start recording. Just, just as a backup. I know YouTube records lectures, so you can just go back and play them, but let me just, make sure that everything's recording. So, okay. Well, in that case, hi everyone, and welcome to my lesson on subjects, direct objects, and indirect objects. And remember, you can, if you're on the Discord server that, where I posted this link, you can either, if you have a YouTube account, you can participate directly in the chat, or you could participate in the Discord chat. It doesn't matter which one you do, like in the Discord classes chat, I mean. I'll be looking at both. I'll be looking at the Discord classes chat on my phone, and I'll be looking at the YouTube chat on my computer. So either one, you guys can do either one. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Sorry, just bear with me here. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get started with the lesson. And somebody asked in the Discord chat, is Rosetta Stone useful? I don't know. I can't comment on it because I've never used it. So you might have to ask someone else. Let me pop out this chat here. Here, let me go back to the whiteboard. Pause that. Pop out this chat here. Because I want to see what I'm doing. And move this here. I want to like see, so you guys can actually see the chat. Let me just move this here. Okay. Okay, I guess that'll work. Let's see, move this here. And then someone move this here. Okay, I guess that'll work. Okay, let's go ahead and resume the share. Okay, so today we're going to be learning about subjects, direct objects, and indirect objects. First of all, you need to know what a subject is. So what's a subject? Well, a subject is the thing in a sentence or clause that that the sentence or clause is about, or that does the action in the sentence or clause. So let me go ahead and type that out. A subject is, let me use a different color. A subject is the thing that a sentence or clause is about, or the thing that performs the action in a sentence or clause. Okay, so that's my best definition for a subject. So for example, the library closes on Wednesdays. Now, granted, no library actually does this, but this is just an example. Okay, so the subject here is the library. Or if you want to just focus on the noun only, it would be library. We call this the subject because this is the thing that's performing the action in the sentence. And the action in this sentence is closing. So the library closes on Wednesdays. Okay. Okay, so that's what the subject is. And to provide another example, I like my computer. So here, the subject is I, because I'm performing the action of liking my computer. I like my computer. So that's what a subject is. Now, a direct object or an indirect object, well, that's different. So let me use a different color here. Okay, so a direct object is, oops, I can't type today. A direct object is the thing in the sentence that experiences the action. So, like, and it's hard to explain. So, that experiences the action, or I should say experiences or receives the action. So what do I mean by that? Okay, well, let's actually put in an example. Let me use brown. Okay, so and hold on, let me pause the screen share for a moment. I want to check how the stream is doing. Okay, cool. And again, I know there's a bit of a delay before you actually, oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. I know that there's a bit of a delay from Zoom, so, but that's okay. Okay, let's go ahead and resume this share. Okay, so what do I mean by the second the definition for a direct object? Well, let's see. I did my homework. We have this sentence, right? I did my homework. My homework here would be the direct object because it's experiencing the action of doing. So I did my homework. My homework experienced the action of doing. I performed the action of doing, but my homework experienced or received the action of doing. So that's what we call a direct object. And to provide another example, let's see. He ate his food. Oops. He ate his food. Oops. I can't type today. Okay. So here, his food is the direct object because it is experiencing the action of eating. He is performing the action, but his food is experiencing or receiving the action. So it's the direct object. It is directly affected by the action. So that's what a direct object is, and an indirect object works a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and use a different color here. An indirect object is the thing in the sentence that the action is done for. So an indirect object is a thing in the sentence for whom the action is done. So what do I mean by that? Okay, well, let's look at the sentence. Hold on, let me just check the Discord chat really fast. Okay. Anyway, so one example would be let's use a different pronoun. She gave us the assignment, or actually, let me use the teacher. The teacher gave us the assignment. Okay, so here we have a direct object and an indirect object. So as usual, the direct object is the thing in the sentence that experiences or receives the action. So the assignment here would be the direct object because it is experiencing the action of giving. It's not performing the action of giving, it is receiving the action of giving. But us here is what we call, oops, let me use a different color. Us here is what we call the indirect object because the action of giving is done for us or to us, I should say. So here us is actually the indirect object because we are indirectly affected by the action of giving. So us, that's the indirect object because the action of giving is done for us. We're not experiencing the action of giving. No one's giving us away. Like, we're not slaves or anything like that, but the action of giving is being done to us. So that's why it's an indirect object. And hold on. What the heck? Okay, sorry. Just for some reason, my mic just wasn't working for a moment. So I have to explain the indirect object thing again. I don't know why that happened. Sorry about that, guys. My headset just has issues sometimes. Okay, let me go ahead and unshare, resume the share. Wait, hold on. Okay, this is so annoying. Okay, and just put this here. Okay, let's just resume the share. Okay, so to explain what I was talking about again, the indirect object is a thing in the sentence that the action is done for. So it doesn't experience or receive the action like the direct object, but it has an action done to it or for it. So in this example here, the teacher gave us the assignment. What the heck? Okay, let me just mute that, sorry. If you guys heard that, you probably didn't hear it, but anyway. Okay, so as I was saying, the assignment here is the indirect object of the sentence right here. This right here is the indirect object. But this right here, us, is a direct, the assignment is a direct object. I'm sorry, the assignment is a direct object because it is experiencing the action of giving, but us is the indirect object because it is, because we're not experiencing the action of giving. We're not slaves. But the action of giving is done to us or for us. So that's what makes us the indirect object. And to provide another example, let's go ahead and provide another example. So the parents told their son the news. So the subject of the sentence here is the parents. Let me use a different color. The subject of the sentence here is the parents. The direct object here is the news because it is experiencing the action of being told, whereas the parents is the subject because it is performing the action of telling, but their son here is the indirect object because the action of telling is done to him. So that's the difference here. So here, this is our indirect object because the son isn't actually being told. He's not, experiencing the action of, being told, but he is receiving, no, not receiving, I'm sorry. The action of telling is done to him. So that's the difference because the son is indirectly affected by the action of, being told. But the news is directly affected because it's experiencing the action of telling. So that's the difference between the direct object and the indirect object. The direct object experiences the action. The indirect object has the action done for it. So that's the difference. Okay, now let's go ahead and, so German speakers, time to listen up because you'll notice that the word order, some of you German speakers, hopefully, have noticed that the word order is actually in English, in these cases, is actually very similar to the one in German. So let's type up a sentence in German. So let's say, ich gebe dem Mann einen Hund. And let me just use a different color. I guess we'll just do this one. Yeah, so this is a typical German sentence, right? And in English, it translates to, let me move this up. In English, this translates to, I give the man a dog, right? Word for word, that's exactly what what these two sentences mean. Ich gebe dem Mann einen Hund. I give the man a dog. So you notice that it's the same word order because in English, this is the word order we've been using in all these examples I've been giving. So you'll notice that, and let me use a different color, that the subject goes here, just like here. The verb goes here, just like here. Oops. The indirect object goes here, just like here. let me use a third line. And the direct object goes at the end here. Oops. So see, it's very similar to the word order in German. In these instances, I mean. So you have the subject, the verb, the indirect object, and the direct object. So you'll notice a similarity there. Ich gebe dem Mann einen Hund. I give the man a dog. However, there's one thing in German you can do that you can't do in English, and you'll see why. So
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, okay, I don't know why my sound keeps doing that. Sorry, you guys can hear me now? Can you hear me now? I decided to just use the laptop microphone because for some reason my headset microphone just refuses to work. I don't know. I don't know. Like, here, hold on. Sorry, like I don't know. Like my headset just the microphone just stopped working. This is the second time that this happened. So I just kind of so now you guys like now part of my explanation was just ruined because I had another explanation in where you compare German and English word order and it's just this is just frustrating. But you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna keep going. Anyway, so here in German you can change the word order a bit. So you could say, der Mann gibt die Frau einen Fernseher. Oops. You could say that in German. And again, it's clear what the subject is because the declensions, these articles here, tell you who's doing what in the sentence. So in this order, you have indirect object, subject, and direct objects. This is the indirect object, dem, die subject, einen, direct object. So yeah. So in German, and the verb is still in the same position. So in German, you can move the words around a bit and you still have the same meaning. In English, you can't do that, and you'll see why. So let's say that instead of the woman gives the man a television, we could say the man gives the woman a television. Okay. I mean, it's still a grammatically correct sentence, but now it means something entirely different from this sentence. So this sentence and this sentence do not mean the same thing. So this sentence is grammatically correct. The man gives the woman a television, but it doesn't mean the same thing as the woman gives the man a television. Because in English, we don't have the conscience to tell us who's doing what in the sentence. So if you change the word order like that, you actually change the meaning of the sentence. Whereas in German, you don't have to worry about that because the declensions tell you who's doing what in the sentence. So in a way, this makes English and German complex in about the same way. In German, you can move the words around and you still know what the subject, direct object, and indirect object is. But in English, moving the words around like that a bit, just, you change the meaning of the sentence. You don't have to worry about learning the declensions, but you change the meaning of the sentence. Because here, these articles, the, and a are not inflected for case. So where you put these in the sentence actually determines how they're used in the sentence. Whereas in German, it really doesn't matter if you do that. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So for German speakers, knowing this will make it a little easier for you to, adjust to how English expresses what a direct object and indirect object is. So that's just something I wanted to share with you. So remember, this sentence here is the same as this sentence here. But this sentence here is not the same as this sentence here. Not the same. But these two here are the same. Oops. So these two are the same, but these two are not the same. So just keep that in mind. So in English, where you put the words in the sentence determines the meaning, because English relies on syntax rather than inflections to tell you who's doing what in the sentence. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now that you know what the direct object, indirect object, and subject is, let's go ahead and do some exercises. Oh, and again, to further expand on what I was saying earlier, in English, direct objects or indirect objects can be placed at the front of the sentence to place a different emphasis, like to, let me just rephrase that, for emphasis, let's just say this, for emphasis. So instead of saying, I don't know that, you could say, that I don't know. So here we have the direct object, that. I don't know that, because that is experiencing the action of not knowing, whereas I is experiencing, it's doing the action of not knowing. But here we can put that in front of the sentence to change the emphasis. So instead of emphasizing I in the first sentence, you emphasize that in the second sentence. I don't know that. That I don't know. Do you see the difference? And we can and there's another example here. Sorry, I cut myself off there. So you could say, I'm trying to think of an example. I just had one. I drank, or let's say, he drank the entire bottle. The entire bottle he drank. So again, you could say this is the direct object, but you can put it in the front like this. So when you put the direct object in the front like that, you change the emphasis, what the sentence emphasizes. Actually, I'm not sure if you can do it with indirect objects. I think it's just with direct objects. I'm not sure about that. Because I'm trying to think of an example where an indirect object could work like that. I guess you could say, I gave him the letter, him I gave the letter. Maybe like you could say it like that. So like them, I told them. Yeah, no, yeah, I think you can. Yeah, you should be able to. Never mind. But there are occasions where I second guess myself when it comes to these topics. You could say, trying to think of an example. You could say, her I told the news. I guess you could say that instead of told her the news. So yeah, you could do that. I don't see what's wrong with this. So instead of saying I told her the news, her I told the news. I didn't tell you, I told her. So that's the difference between these two sentences. This one is emphasis on I. This one is emphasis on her. Oops. Okay, so now that we've covered that, let's go ahead and I think I've explained all the, I think I've mentioned all the examples I could. So we're just going to go ahead and do some exercises now. Let me see. Let me pause this for a moment. Okay, let's go ahead and open up one of the exercises. This thing is getting in the freaking way. Go away. Oh, this is annoying. Okay. Okay, let me just unpause that here. No, go away. Okay. All right. So I have like five, I believe, yeah, 5 exercises here set up. So actually, let me choose a different. That's not it. No, oh my God, go away. Let me move this stupid thing. Okay, let's see, this one. Okay, let's do this exercise first. I want to do this one first. Okay. So let me take this out. Okay, identifying the subject, direct object, and indirect object. So in this exercise, we have to choose whether the bolded part of the sentence is the subject, direct object, or indirect object. So can somebody answer the first question? So here we have toss me some popcorn. So me is the bolded part of the sentence. We have to determine what it is. Is me the subject of the sentence, the direct object of the sentence, or the indirect object of the sentence? So I will wait for someone to answer that in the chat. And I'll give you guys like a little more time than I usually did in my Zoom classes because, you know, there's a bit of a delay again from Zoom to YouTube. So can somebody answer the question? Again, you can just type in the chat, or if you know, if you don't have a YouTube account, you can just type in the Discord chat. Either one works. Okay. Let me check something while you guys are doing it. And back. What was I again? Okay. And okay, well, I'll just go ahead and answer the question. So the correct answer is the direct object. No, I'm sorry, indirect object. Because me, the pronoun me is experiencing the action of, No, I'm sorry, not. I'm sorry. Me is having the action of tossing done to it. So in this case, it's an indirect object. And remember that only object pronouns can be direct or indirect objects. So me, him, her, it, them, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and check it. Okay. So next question. Okay, so I'll give you guys a few minutes to answer this one. So do you want to come with me? Do you want to come with me? So is that, so it's the bolded part, you, the pronoun you, it's a pronoun you, a subject, direct object, or indirect object. Okay, so the answer, I don't think anyone answered. That's okay. So the answer here would be the subject, because the subject is the one doing the action of wanting in the sense, or rather someone's asking the subject is going to do an action. So in this case, we have the subject. Do you want to come with me? Okay. Okay, now here we have another one. Has Mallory ever visited Blue Mountain? So Mallory is the bolded part of the sentence. So which one is Mallory? Is Mallory the subject of the sentence, direct object, or the indirect object? Okay, so the correct answer here would be, I think, okay, well, the correct answer is the subject, because we're asking if Mallory has ever visited the Blue Mountain. We're asking if Mallory has ever, done a certain action. Subject does the action. So in this case, Mallory is the subject. Okay. Final question. So now we have to choose the indirect object in this sentence. So we don't have anything bolded to work with, no bolded parts of the sentence. We just have, or bold-faced, I mean. We just have the court sent me a letter. So which part here is the indirect object? Is it court, is it letter, or is it me? So again, I'll give you guys time to answer that. Yeah, hold up one. Let me just close out of this whiteboard. It just keeps getting in the way. Okay, sorry. Whiteboard just kept getting in the way. Okay, so I'll just let you guys answer that. Okay, let me go ahead and where am I? Okay, so let's unpause that. Okay, so the correct answer here would be me, because me is the one that is having the action of sending done to it, or for it, or to it in this case. So there you go. Okay. So that's our first exercise. Oh, yep, awesome. All right, so that's that exercise. And now we're going to go ahead and do another one. Let's do this one. Let me pause to share for a moment and see exactly how this is going to go. Okay, I really don't like giving out my lectures like this. I might have to just do something else. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll think about it. This is just a test run, of course. Kind of like a test run, kind of. Okay, so now we have to determine whether the verbs in bold are subjects, direct objects, or indirect. So it's similar to the previous case, except that well, it's actually pretty much the exact same, but we have more questions this time. Question number 1: she sent her friend an email. Okay. Well, we have her friend in bold. That's the boldface part. So, which one would the boldface part be? Subject, direct object, or the indirect object? Okay, so it would actually be indirect object, because I'm not going to go. I'm not going to try to explain the logic of every single one of these, because that would just take too long. I'm just going to explain the logic of this one, and then at this point, I'm just not going to explain the logic, anymore for the last 3 exercises. Okay, but in this case, she's her friend. Sorry, her friend would be the indirect object, because she is. I'm sorry, she is having the action of sending done to her. She's not experiencing the action of sending. You don't send your friends to other places. You just are. Well, I mean, yeah, you can send people, but not like that. But anyway, her friend here is the indirect object. Anyway, number 2, Sally will help you with your housework. So what would you in this sense be the subject, direct object, or indirect object? Let me go ahead and pause that. And give you guys time to enter it. And that should be, oops. Okay. I forgot you guys could hear my humming. Anyway, the correct answer here is the direct object. Because here, you is experiencing the action of helping. Now, in German, it's actually, in this case, you would be the indirect object because the verb help works a bit differently in German. It doesn't work with direct objects, it works with indirect objects. But that's just something for you German speakers to be in mind. In English here, we have to help takes direct objects, not indirect objects. Okay, number 3, where did you put the keys? So what is you? Subject, direct object, or indirect object? Okay, so the correct answer here would be the subject, because we're asking if we're asking if the pronoun you did some sort of action. So that can only be done by the subject. Where did you put the keys? You put the keys somewhere. Okay, so number 4, he gave them a bag full of money. So what would it be in this case? What would them be? Would it be subject, direct object, or indirect object? Okay, so let's see. Pause the stupid share. Let me just put this here and move it over here. Okay, there you go. Yeah, now I can see the chat. Okay, so in this case, the correct answer is indirect objects. Because, them is not experiencing the action of giving, but the action of giving is done to them. Okay, number 5. Alice wrote a book on the French Revolution. So which one would this one be? Would it be the subject, the direct object, or indirect object? What is Alice? Okay, so in this case, Alice would be the subject because she's performing the action of writing a book. Okay, so now what's number 6? I need your help. What would your help be in this case? Would it be the subject, the direct object, or the indirect object? So I will go ahead and let you know that. Okay, so the correct answer here would be the direct object because your help is experiencing the action of being needed. Okay, number 7. He offered her a flower. So what would a flower be in this case? Would it be the subject, the direct object, or the indirect object? So again, take a moment to choose the answer. Okay, so the correct answer here would be the direct object because a flower in the sentence is experiencing the action of being offered. Okay, number 8. My father bought us a new TV set. Okay, so what would us be in this sentence? Would it be the subject, direct object, or indirect object? So go ahead and take time to think about the answer. Okay, so the correct answer would be the us would be the indirect object of the sentence, because the action of buying something is done for us. Okay, number 9. John sold me his car. So what would his car be in this case? Subject, direct object, or indirect object? Again, if you're not watching this live, pause the video. If you are watching this live, just type up the answer in the chat. Okay, so the correct answer here would be the direct object. His car is the direct object because it is experiencing the action of being sold. Okay, so what is number 10? I wish you good luck. So you is the part we need to identify. Is it the subject, the direct object, or the indirect object? So again, take time to think about the correct answer. Okay, so the correct answer here would be the indirect object, because you is having the action of wishing done for it. Like you're not wishing someone, you're wishing someone something. Okay, so that is that. Let's go ahead and check our answers. So how do we do? We got it perfect. Hey, nice. Okay, um, let me check on something really fast. I really don't like classes like this. It's just not as interactive as before. Okay, let me stop. Let me pause the screen share for a moment. Okay. So that's that exercise. Okay, so we did that exercise. And now we're going to go ahead and do, how long have I been recording? Let me see. I don't even know how long I've been recording. Like maybe more than an hour. Okay, well, that's okay. Anyway, we have 3 more exercises to do. I just don't, I honestly don't like, I really don't like doing my lessons like this. Honestly, I'd rather just record. Next time, I think I'm just going to record things offline and then have my students, just watch these and then answer questions. I think that's better. 'Cause I really don't like this format, to be honest. I just missed when I could, because, recording directly from Zoom it's just a more personal, more more hands-on thing. You can interact directly with your students, but something ruined that, so now I have to do this. But what can you do? I'll figure something out. Anyway, so we have a quiz here on direct objects. But before we do that, I need to explain one more thing. Remember that subjects, regarding pronouns, subjects can be I, he, she, they, whereas objects, direct objects and indirect objects can only be me, him, her, them, and it's the same thing here. For indirect objects, me, him, her, them. So both me, him, her, and them. Me, him, her, and them would work for both direct objects and indirect objects. So for subjects, you have to use what we call the subject require the objects require the objective case. Okay. Subjects require the subjective case. Objects require the objective case. Both direct and indirect objects. So objects, direct and indirect, require the objective case. So just keep that in mind if you have pronouns that are subjects, direct objects, or indirect objects instead of nouns, because remember, pronouns take the place of nouns. So this whole thing, so let me type it in here. Both statements apply for pronouns. Okay, so you really only have to worry about a case for pronouns. So for nouns, this doesn't really matter. Okay, so let me go ahead and get out of this board. And, oh no, I wanted to share my screen. Bad. Okay, direct objects. Okay, so a direct object is a noun or pronoun that receives the action of a verb in a sentence. It answers the questions what or whom about the verb. Choose the direct objects in each sentence, or a direct object if there's just one. Take the test. And again, I'm not going to explain the logic this time. I'm just going to go through these and then tell you what the correct answers are. Okay, so let me get my timer out. And okay, so question 1 to 12. Chelsea painted a bird and a flower for her art project. Okay, so what would the direct object be in this sentence? Art, flower, project, or bird? And I'm not going to read every single choice before, every time, because you guys can clearly read these for yourselves. So I will give you guys 40 seconds to answer the question. Okay, so the correct answer here would be Actually, here you have more than one answer. So you have it's bird and flower. So Chelsea painted a bird and a flower for her art project. So a bird and a flower here are sorry, are the direct objects of the sentence. So a bird and the flower are the direct objects of this sentence. Okay. So the students are baking pies in their cooking class. So what's the direct object in this sentence? So I will go ahead and give you time, guys, time to answer that. Okay, so the answer here is pies. Again, I'm not going to explain every single answer, but in this case, it's pies. My grandma sent me a birthday card and a present for my birthday. So what would the answer here be? Birthday card or present? I mean, birthday card, present, my or grandma. So which one? Which ones would the direct object be? And remember that the direct object can be more than one in the sentence. You can have more than one direct object in the sentence. So go ahead and take time to figure that one out. Sorry, I'm just checking something. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the quiz. Okay. I was just checking the stream. Okay, so the correct answer here would be two, actually. Birthday card and present. Those are the direct object. Sorry, those are the direct objects. Okay. So since there really doesn't seem to be a lot of participation going on here, I'm just gonna blow through these quizzes for now. So I'm just gonna like just read the answer, like tell you guys to pause the video if you're not watching this live. If you're watching this live, well, I mean I would wait, but no one's answering, so I'm just gonna go and blow through these. So anyway, if you're not watching live, just pause the video and then I'll tell you the answer right after. Okay, so Jesse has to practice the trumpet before he goes to the movies. So pause the video and think about the answer. Okay, so in this case, the answer is trumpet. Okay, number 5. The boys built a castle with Lego. So pause the video and think about the answer. Okay, so in this case, the answer is castle. So remember, we're trying to find a direct object pronoun, or the direct object. If we're trying to find a direct object in the sentence, it could be a noun or a pronoun. Carlos was so hungry, he ate chicken, potatoes, salad, and dessert. So Pause the video and select the direct object in this sentence. Okay, so the correct answer here would be, we actually have all of these actually. All of these are the direct objects of the sentence. Carlos was so hungry he ate chicken, potato, salad, and dessert. So chicken, potato, salad, and dessert are all the direct objects of the sentence. Every single answer here is correct. So you have 4 direct objects in this sentence. Katie sanded and painted the birdhouse she was making for her grandpa. So choose a direct object here and pause the video. Okay, so the correct answer here is birdhouse. My family has a dog, 2 cats, and 3 gerbils. So which one or which ones are the direct objects? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, we have 3 answers: dog, cats, and gerbils. So these 3 are the direct objects of the sentence. Alex speaks English, French, and Japanese. Okay, so which one or which ones are the direct object in the sentence? So pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so the direct objects are 3 again: English, French, and Japanese. 1, 2, 3. Mandy must brush her teeth and comb her hair before she leaves for school. So which one or which ones would be the direct objects in this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the correct answers would be teeth and hair. Yeah, so Mandy must brush her teeth and comb her hair before she leaves for school. So in this case, teeth and hair are the direct objects of the sentence. Would you rather play the violin, the trumpet, the clarinet, or the drums? Okay, so which ones here are the direct objects of the sentence? So pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, we have all of these actually: the violin, the trumpet, clarinet, and the drums. Okay, last one. I will come over after I do the dishes and finish my homework. So which noun here, or which answer here, is a direct object sentence? So pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so the answer here would be 2. Actually, we have 2. So I will come over after I do the dishes and finish my homework. So homework. And that's that. And of course, we get a perfect score. Yay! Oh, but yay, we got a perfect score. We're the best. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we got it. Okay, so that's that quiz. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go ahead and do the indirect objects quiz, and then we'll do the quiz on Kia, and then we'll be done. Okay. So indirect objects. Indirect objects is a word or a group of words that usually comes between the verb and the direct object. It tells to whom or to what something has been done. We already know this, so let's go ahead and take the test. So throughout these questions, you have to choose the indirect object of the sentence, or indirect objects if there happens to be more than one indirect object. So you can have, so a question could have multiple indirect objects and not just one. So it depends on the sentence. Okay, so for this question, the teacher gave the students their test papers. Choose whatever choice is the indirect object of the sentence. Or you can choose more than one choice if there's more than one indirect object. Pause the video and figure this question out. Okay, so in this case, it would be students. Sorry, it would be students. So yeah, that's the indirect object of the sentence. Mrs. Talbin gave us 3 extra days to finish our reports. Okay, so which one here would be the indirect object? So pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so here it would be us. Tyler's mom made him a chocolate cake for his birthday. Okay, so which answer here is the indirect object of the sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, him would be the indirect object. I was furious because Mandy told Jessica my secret. So what answer here would be the indirect object of the sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, it would be Jessica. The office gave us medals when our team won the final game. Okay, so I'm sorry, the official. The official gave us medals when our team won the final game. So which word here is the indirect object of the sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, it would be us. Okay, question number 6. Jesse showed Marcus his hockey cards. Okay, so what would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, it would be Marcus. The poison ivy gave Savannah a terrible rash. Okay, so what would be the indirect object in this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, Savannah would be the indirect object of the sentence. Are you going to tell Chelsea the news? So what would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, Chelsea would be the indirect object. Question number 9, would you please just give them the keys? Okay, so what would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, them is the indirect object of the sentence. Teacher read us a great story today. So what's the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the indirect object would be us. Okay, Mandy and Jessica's dad built them an amazing treehouse. So what would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so the indirect object here would be them. Okay, last question. Can you get us 3 tickets to the concert? So what would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, it would be us. And of course, we, as usual, get every single answer right because we're the best. Yeah, not playing. Okay, that's that question. That's our quiz. Now we are going to go ahead and do the final quiz. Finding direct objects and indirect objects. Okay, wait, sorry. Before we do this quiz, I need to point out one more thing. Let me share the whiteboard. So one more important fact here that I forgot to mention. So direct and indirect objects are never objects of prepositions. So this is something that's very important to know. Direct and indirect objects are never objects of prepositions. So if you want to say something like gave the ball to me here is not, it is not the indirect object. It is the object of a preposition. But if you wanted to say he gave me the ball, then yeah, me would be the indirect object of the sentence because it is not the object of a preposition. There's no preposition before it. Here, me would be the indirect object of the sentence, but here it would not be. So that's a big no. So in the first sentence here, me is the object of a preposition and not the indirect object. But here, me in the second sentence, she gave me the ball. Me is the indirect object of the sentence because the preposition isn't before it. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. And of course, the same applies to direct objects too. Both direct and indirect objects are never objects of prepositions. So if you have a sentence with just like, let me say, let me have this. So if you have a sentence like, he went with me to the store. Here you don't have any direct or indirect object. Me is not a direct or indirect object, and neither is the store. So you don't have direct or indirect objects in either category. I mean, for either verb, either noun and pronoun. So me is not direct or indirect. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. Me is not a direct or indirect object, and store is not a direct or indirect object. So here you actually don't have, in this sentence right here, you actually don't have direct or indirect objects. So you don't have either. So it's just a sentence with objects of prepositions. So you have objects of prepositions here, me and store, but these are not direct and indirect or indirect objects. So that's something I should point out. Okay. Now that that's done, let me keep that there actually. And yeah, in case anyone wants to take a screenshot of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a new share of oh, someone has joined the chat. Okay, Matthias, hi. It is adverb, right? No, we're not talking about adverbs right now, so no, I'm afraid not. Okay, well, I don't think anyone's going to be talking in Discord, so whatever. Anyway, I'm just going to stop. From now on, I'm not going to even look at the Discord chat because it's annoying having to go back and forth between two chats. From now on, I'll look only at what's on the YouTube. Now I'll look at the Discord chat occasionally to see if there's anyone who needs help attending my lesson, but I won't be responding to anything there that pertains to exercises that I have in my lessons. Okay, well, now that someone's here to participate, I guess I'll just slow down on the exercises now. So, oop, my bad. Okay, so here we have a set. This is our last exercise for today. So Matthias, she did miss 4 exercises, but that's okay. You can still do this one. So, finding direct objects and indirect objects. In sentences 1 to 10, find the direct object in each sentence and write it in the space provided. For sentences 11 to 20, find the indirect object in each sentence and write it in the space provided. So for questions 1 to 10, we have to find the direct object of the sentence, but for questions 11 to 20, we have to find the indirect object in each sentence. So keep that in mind. So first we'll do questions 1 to 10. So we have to find the direct object in the sentence. And since you're here, Matthias, you can help me answer these questions. So question number 1 is Max asked Sally a question about the dance. So what would be the direct object in this sentence? So I'll just give you time to figure that one out. And if you don't know, it's okay. I can just tell you the answer too. But either way, just let me know if you have an answer or if you don't. Yes, correct. A question. You're good at this. Okay. And for those of you who are not watching this live, like, because again, I'll post this, it'll be automatically posted on my channel, and I'll just add some details, and then you guys can just watch on your own time. For those of you who aren't watching live, just pause the video when I ask the question and then figure out the answer before you unpause it. Same procedure as before. Okay, so number 2, I have told him the answer several times. So what would be the direct object in this sentence? Uh, Close, but not quite, Matthias. We're here with the direct object isn't him. It's actually the answer. But you're like, now him would be the indirect object, but it's not the direct object of the sentence. Okay, number 3. The students ate their lunch in silence. What would be the direct object in this sentence? Their lunch. Perfect. Matthias, you're right. Their lunch. I'm not sure exactly what form they want these in, like if they want the articles and the possessive adjectives in front, or like if they want those removed. So I'll just put it in like that. I don't really care at this point. So, and if they mark it wrong, then whatever. That's their fault for not making it clear on what you should be doing. Okay. So what's number 4? I saw Alice in the hallway during the class change. Okay, so it's like I would wait longer, but I kind of don't want to like keep people waiting, so I'll just go ahead and answer number 4 because I haven't received an answer yet. So in this case, number 4 would be Alice. Let me check something actually. I want to see how they grade these. Okay. Okay, so they don't actually accept the word in front. Okay, so you just put the noun. Okay. So let me go back again. So how do you take this again? Try again. Let's try this again. So it would be and then her, and then bunch, and then Alice. Okay. All right, number 5. Jim failed English last semester. What would be the direct object of this? Okay, so I don't think Matthias is here anymore. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blow through these again. So in this case, first pause the video before I tell you the answer. Number 5. Okay, so in this case, number 5 would be English for the direct object. Remember, we're finding the direct object for questions 1 to 10. Okay, number 6. TV audiences love reality programs. So what would be the direct object in this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the direct object would be reality program. Okay, let's keep going. Mr. Shelley has inspired many students over the years. So what would be the direct object in this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the answer would be students. Because remember, we're not putting adjectives or articles in front of the nouns. Unless it's like something like reality programs. So that's an exception. Okay, at least that's what I'm assuming. Number 8, the policeman was shouting directions at the motorists. What would be the direct object in this sentence? Okay, so the correct answer would be directions. Number 9, Amy had a book from the library in her locker. Okay, so what would be the direct object in this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so book would be the correct answer here. Okay, last question for direct objects. I forgot the answer to the question. Okay, so what would be the direct object in this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so the answer here is, well, answer. Okay, so that's for direct objects. Now for indirect objects, we have questions 11 to 20. So let's go through these really fast. Question 11, Max asked Sally a question. So, so this is actually similar to the first question, but at least I think it is, right? It is, right? Oh yeah, it's similar, not the exact same, but it's similar. So here we have we have to decide what the indirect object of the sentence is this time from questions 11 to 20. So pick the indirect object in the question. Pick the indirect object of the sentence, and then pause the video and figure it out, basically. Okay, so in this case, it would be the indirect object would be Ellie. Number 12, the boy sent the girl flowers. Okay, so which word here is the indirect object of the sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, it would be girl. The indirect object of the sentence would be girl. Okay, number 13, Mrs. Webb serves her family a hearty breakfast. So what would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the indirect object is family. Number 14, a woman in the balcony asked the man a question. So what would be the indirect object in this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the indirect object would be man. Number 15, the teacher sent Alice a note. Okay. What would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the indirect object would be Alice. Okay, number 16, prophet told the audience the future. So what would be the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, it's audience. The indirect object is audience. Number 17, he offered me money. So what's the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, the indirect object is simply me. Number 18, the audience offered the cast thunderous applause. Okay, so what's the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, it would be cast. The indirect object would be cast. Number 19, he sent his girlfriend flowers. Okay, so what's the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so, sorry, I was lying down for a bit there. So the indirect object of this sentence would be girlfriend. Number 20, the grocer sold mother some lettuce. Okay, so what's the indirect object of this sentence? Pause the video and figure it out. Okay, so in this case, mother is the indirect object of the sentence. Okay, so for questions 1 to 10, we did direct objects. We found the direct objects of the sentence. For questions 11 to 20, we found the indirect objects of the sentence. Let's see how we did. Okay, we got all of them correct except for number 6. Okay, I was afraid of that. They apparently didn't want reality in front of the program, so it's really just programs, but they didn't specify that, so that's really on them. They could have just said, put only the noun in the blank, and don't put anything in front of the noun, not any adjective. Because I thought, okay, reality would be an exception to the rule, but no, they didn't make that clear, so that's on them. But anyway, it's still a good quiz though. So yeah, we pretty much got every answer correct, except for number 6, but that really wasn't our fault. or my fault, I should say. Anyway, because I had a feeling that it would be programs too, but I wasn't sure. So again, the quiz didn't make that clear, but that's okay. We got everything right. That's the important part. Okay, so that's really all I have to teach for direct and indirect objects. Oh, and one more thing. So regarding objects of preposition. So objects of prepositions also require the objective case. Forgot to mention this. So you can't have something like he is with I. It has to be, can't say that. That's not grammatically correct. Because I can't be the subject, the I can't be the object of a preposition. You can say he is with me because me is the objective case and not the subjective case. I is the subjective case. But since me is the objective case, it can be with a preposition. It can be with the preposition with in this sentence. So this is okay. He is with me is okay. But he is with I is not okay because you need the objective case. I needs to be in the objective case. So it should be he is with me. That's just one thing I wanted to point out. Okay. But anyway, let me just go ahead and erase this too. And I'll just let you guys take a screenshot of that if you need to. Like I'll stop for a few seconds. But anyway, that's all I have to say. So far, to sum up what we've learned, we talked about subjects, direct objects, and indirect objects. We talked about subjects, direct objects, and indirect objects. A subject is a thing that a sentence or clause is about, or the thing that performs the action in a sentence or clause. And for pronouns, I, he, she, they. A direct object is a thing in the sentence that experiences or receives the action. So me, him, her, them in the objective case. Indirect object is the thing in the sentence that the action is done for, or I should say, for. So it's the thing in the sentence that the action is done for or to. So it's the thing that the action for whom or to whom the action is done. Sorry, I'm all over the place. And of course, it requires the objective case. And of course, objects of prepositions also require. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Sorry. Direct and indirect objects are never objects of prepositions. So keep that in mind. Subjects require the subjective case. Objects, direct and indirect objects, require the objective case. And both statements apply for pronouns. So with subjective, objective, the cases, these apply to pronouns only. Because in English, nouns don't have cases. Pronouns have cases. That's what I'm talking about. And of course, objects of prepositions also require the objective case. Okay, so that's just really all I had to say about this. Let me just erase all of that. And so actually I can rephrase this. To whom or for whom the action is done. Here, okay. So an indirect object is a thing in the sentence to whom or for whom the action is done. Let me just rephrase it like that. That's what an indirect object is. Okay. All right. Just out. You guys again can take a screenshot of what I just did right here. And let me go ahead and let me move these around a bit because I don't like how they're arranged here. Let me just do that. I'll just use these arrows from now on. I knew that Zoom had arrows, but I never bothered to use them until now, so whatever. And let me just go ahead and fix it here. And fix it here. Okay, so let me move everything up a bit. Okay. This here. I'm just fixing this up. Like the lesson's about to be finished because I want this to look a little bit nicer. Okay, that looks better. Okay, so let me just go ahead and save this snapshot. And again, you guys can just go ahead and take a screenshot of this right now. But anyway, I'm about to erase all this. Actually, I don't have to erase all this. I could just leave it like this. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. That's really all I have to say. Let me do one more thing. Okay. Again. Okay. So again, you guys can go ahead and take a screenshot of that. Oh wait, no. I messed up. I'm I'm sorry. I'm just so perfectionist like this. I want all these to be capitalized. Okay. All right. So there you go. Hopefully you find that snapshot useful. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this. This was fun, although participation was pretty low. That, it's okay because it's kind of hard to get participation from YouTube compared to just doing it directly from Zoom. But I'm happy with this lesson. I'm okay with it. But I'm gonna try to do something else next time. And next time I'm gonna use fewer exercises because I think I'm using too much, and that takes up a lot of time. Because these lessons really shouldn't be so long. But anyway. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.